Welcome to the Stories in EDU podcast, the show where we talk with real educators and hear their powerful impact. Their stories will grab you, inspire you, and show you the reach of the work we do. And now, the Bretzman Group presents your hosts, Josh Gauthier and Mandy Taylor.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Stories in EDU. I'm glad you could find your way back to us for episode 9 of our podcast. I can't believe we're already at episode 9. It's just crazy. Don't you think, Mandy? Like, doesn't that baffle your mind? We've made it 9. I know it doesn't seem like a lot.
I think we talked about it for 9 years before we started. So the fact that we're 9 episodes in is kind of shocking.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Mandy, do you want to introduce our 9th guest?
I would love to. So I am so excited today. I got the opportunity earlier this year to present and travel to Houston for the TCCA conference. And one of the people that, encouraged me to apply to present, but then also was kind of like my sensei all along the way in the process is Shaina Glass. And so I reached out to her just to see if she would come on and talk to us about just that conference and kind of where it came from and what drives her to continue it. It was such a fantastic, just gathering of educators, and I was so impressed with just the production of it and just everything from a presenter YouTube channel to an app to plan out your sessions, and everything was so thought out. And I've been to a lot of conferences in 20 years, and this is one that as I'm sitting there, I was like, I'm going to bring teachers back to this. Like, I want to come next year. I want to bring teachers to present. I want to bring teachers just to come, to the sessions, and then also trying to kind of pull out some nuggets of things that we could bring to our district, and things that we can use to kind of emulate that success. So Shaina, if you'll just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and what exactly your role is, or what you call it, and maybe a little bit about TCCA.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm Shaina Glass, and I am in my district what you would call an instructional technology specialist, and basically that's an ed tech coach. We actually coach teachers on our campus and throughout the district. There's one of us on each campus. There's right now 77 campuses, but next year we're growing. They're going to open up 8 more, so we'll be at 85 campuses.
Wow.
I know. I see your face, Josh.
Wow.
And so there's going to be 85 of us, and we come together, we share ideas, we ask questions, and most importantly, we support the teachers. That's my role on my campus and throughout the district. As far as TCCA is concerned, which is the Technology and Curriculum Conference of all deans, that's what TCCA stands for. I have been honored to take the position as the presenters chair. And it is under right now the leader, Bradford Harris. He is our chairman of the committee, and he asked me to come and help him. What happens is every 2 years, a new committee is developed out of the 77 to 85 ITECs. They get a group together, about 10 of us, and we all take different roles, and then we develop the committees underneath us to support us, and we put on this conference. Unlike other conferences, most districts put on a conference for their district, and it's in-house. This conference was actually started while I was still in the classroom. I know it had to been at least a decade that they've been hosting this conference. And it started pretty small. But even from its inception, it was never just for the district. It was always open. And they always brought in presenters from everywhere. So even I don't know if you guys heard of Rochelle Wooten. I always use her as an example. She's from Fort Bend. She's been presenting at our conference from its inception. And I actually learned from her and was inspired by her and got into my role because of watching her at this conference.
Okay.
It's just evolved over time, to what it is. And I mean, I guess in the beginning, it might have been like 500 people, maybe 300 people, the first conference. It was pretty small, to where this year we're actually thinking about, well, not even thinking. The numbers have become astronomical. We had 2,400 people to register for this conference last year. So it can't fit into the high school anymore. Right. So we're actually expanding to both high schools, because right next door is a ninth grade high school center. So we're going to use both campuses. And we've gone from just having presenters to having a keynote and maybe a couple of featured. Last year we had 12 featured presenters, which is ludicrous. Everybody thought I was crazy. Like, why do you have so many featured presenters? Why? I was like, because we focus on, like, we're targeting administrators, so we have an administrator strand. We have all of our librarians, well, they attend, so then we have a focus on that, and we deal with makerspace, lots of STEM, productivity. Everyone has a focus, everyone has a strength, and it helps to have someone who's strong in that strength to kind of guide that whole strand. So it kind of worked.
And from the angle of personalized PD that, I know all of us really are passionate about, having all of those choices is empowering, because there's nothing worse than going to a conference and feeling like you could present every session, or there's not enough, there's not enough choices for, what you to grow to grow or whatever. And so I felt like I was like, I have 8 things I want to go to in this block. I have, and it was funny because like I went from Austin to Houston, and I was like, I need to get back on the road. And then I was like, why? I'm just going to stay. Like, I was going to leave as soon as I presented. And then that would be kind of dumb for me to come all this way. And
you can learn,
leave 3 hours early, and I just picked sessions till the end of the day because it was, I just was having so much fun. So, So one of the things that you said, I wrote down, and it really struck a chord with me. You said, most importantly, we support the teachers. And it was more about your position than the actual conference, but
they go hand in hand almost.
Absolutely. And as an instructional coach, that is one of the things that I try every single day, is to find concrete ways to support the teachers, to really listen and find out, okay, what's that struggle and how can I support? What's the need? How can I support? What's the question? How can I support? What are they complaining about? How can I support? A lot of times a complaint is really a need, not necessarily just being negative, but this is something that's come up, and what could we do? How could we? And not that they need me to tell them, but they need me to, it's so fantastic to be able to be the one to say, we could do this or this or this, or how
what do you think? What
do you need?
Right, exactly. Same with kids, it's kind of like a trickle down effect. Your students say the same thing. When your students are complaining, or they're frustrated, or they're distracted, or they are distracting, it's because they also have a need. So getting teachers to see that the same way you are addressing the students' needs, I'm here to address your needs. Fantastic approach.
Yeah. Well, that means a lot to me. That quote, I'm like, yep, that's for the show line right there. Like, most of, because these coaching positions are popping up everywhere right now.
They are.
I think it's really exciting that most coaches I work with, most coaches that I visit with, that we're just so excited to have the role of supporting teachers, because for such a long time
there was none.
It wasn't, right? It was,
and it's different. Professional development definitely has switched up. Like, you can have the sessions or the little, the after school workshops, whatever. But if it's not pinpointing or targeting a the specific need. You know, I don't want to show you everything. I want to meet you where you are.
Right.
That's the ultimate. So like I was on my way home today, I was like, so how, yes, I need to meet with more teachers because in our district, our goals per year is to coach at least 5 teachers. So to follow them through their process, watch them go through from where they begin to where they end, how they grow, and to document and show them so they have a record as well. And then if they want to end the coaching cycle, they can, or we can extend it if you want to keep growing, which most times they don't want to, they want to keep going.
Right. Yeah.
But even with that goal of 5, you still have to meet everyone else's needs. So how do you meet the needs of teachers when you have so many, when you have so many, like we each service a campus. So I'm on my campus and I service all techniques, right? Yeah, right. I'm just going to say that. I service all techniques. But I also have to support beyond just coaching those few. I have to coach. Even if it's something small, I have to coach. Like today, just an example, one teacher, she was complaining of a headache. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, well, I have Erlin's. I was like, really? She's like, yeah. And I have to do a little research on it. But she's like, yeah. And I said, so how do you deal with that in the classroom? I was like, that has to be extremely difficult as an educator to have Erlin's. And she's like, well, I have overlays. And I said, how do you do that? Especially, and then we have tons of tech on our campus, So I said, so how do you even do that with the kids and devices? Like if the letters are moving and she's explaining this to me. And I was like, so you know that there's different things that you can do. And she's like, it would be really helpful if there was something that could be done. I said, well, let's work on that.
Right.
That's personal, but it's not, because that impacts everything.
Right.
Like I was like, how do you even grade papers? She was like, it's a struggle. I can only imagine how much of a struggle that is.
Right.
So, and it impacts everything. That's not just her trying to do paperwork.
Right.
That's also her trying to teach. She's like, the kids have actually seen her struggling and they're trying to read. Like she slowed down her and she's ELA. So I was like, oh, and then we talked about it, and I always do it as a comparison to students. So I was like, imagine your kids, if they had Erlin's and how frustrated they are with having to use an overlay and no one else in the class is using this. And she's like, yeah, that's how I was like, I know that's how you, and she was diagnosed as an adult not too long ago.
Well, and that's interesting though, too, like you were saying, I do ed tech, but then everything is so connected, and I'm not considered an ed tech coach, but I would say 80% of the work that I do on my campus has to do with technology. And so that's one of the reasons that I'm trying to kind of stay ahead of that game so that I can
learning yourself.
Right. Because a teacher may say, hey, I'm interested in this, or I'm interested in this. And I had one today ask about something. I was like, let me think about that. I'm going to have to work. And I love it because I get to be like this constant researcher,
Yeah. And problem solver,
Right. Yeah.
Collaborative problem solver. I'll say that. Another big issue that district-wide, I'm pretty sure it's statewide too, here in Texas, that people are having is assessments. On digital assessments, online assessments in preparation for Tailpass and STAR online. And, the conversation in this position, it's always been, well, how come we don't do assessments online? How come there's no, there's not this, blend? It doesn't, not saying that the kids have to be completely online when they take assessments, but how come there can't be this blend? So now I'm working with testing coordinators. I'm working with, higher ups to get the mindset switch that, no, we're not going to wait for testing.
Right.
So what other ways can we support students who have to have oral administration?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what tools are out there that we can use? Of course, Flipgrid comes up, you know, as a way for kids to respond, you know, just
Right.
thinking of ways that people normally wouldn't have thought,
Mm-hmm.
you know, which is exciting because it's like doors are opening. I don't know if it was the state or, you know, doors are becoming more fluid, easily open, which is exciting.
Well, and two, just kind of the idea of learning from the kids. Like the kids come with so much already, and when teachers can kind of take that, I guess the posture of a learner, it's so hard. I think we were talking just before we even started recording. It's so hard to turn over control because you don't really know where it's going to go. But when, you know, I've got a 14-year-old that is trying to teach me about something on Snapchat that the kids do called streaks, where they basically just like, it's kind of like tag, I guess. I don't really know. I'm probably going to sound like a 97-year-old woman on this podcast, but like, so I was trying, he goes, Mom, let me just start one with you so you can see it, because maybe if you see it, you'll understand it.
Okay.
And I was like, talking to me like I'm a first grader. Like, he's like, okay, let's use manipulatives and maybe you'll get this.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
for Snapchat.
That's it. He was trying to help me, like, let me, like, saying,
that's your face. You're like,
and like, okay, Mom, let me just do it. And then I said, okay, well, I want to send you my Bitmoji. He goes, first of all, that's for old people. Second of all, I know
he didn't.
Yeah, he did. He goes, second of all, you don't do a Bitmoji for a streak. That's different. And I was like, okay, wait, can you slow down? And it was so funny because I kept thinking how he must feel during algebra, you know, like, wait, can you please slow down? You know, like, and it was so funny because anytime you're the learner, there's this automatic, like, why can't I get this? Why don't I understand this? Do I look stupid? You know? And so I still haven't learned it, but I'm not giving up on it because I feel like if I can actually do a streak and keep it going, that he'll be so proud of me.
That's going to be the first thing I do when we get off of this. I'm going to look, like, to Google what is that in Snapchat. But I don't Snapchat, so I must be really old because I don't Snapchat. I don't Snapchat.
I Snapchat, but I still haven't figured out. I think it's because I don't understand the why. That's what it is. That's what I'm telling myself, that I have not Simon Sinek'd my way out of that one yet. I don't know. I can't figure it out.
Wow, you just made Simon Sinek into a verb. That's impressive.
You're welcome.
He also trashes millennials a lot, and I take that kind of personally. I feel like he doesn't know millennials very well, but
I take it personally when you are a millennial, so.
Aren't we millennials? Like, aren't we millennials?
I don't think so.
No, I think they have a new name.
You are.
Like,
I'm saying I don't think
you just have to, like, look. Depending on that person you ask, the age group changes. So
right. My husband, we were debating on what a baby boomer was. And then it was like this long period, long time period. I was like, really? Those are baby boomers? He was like, yeah, it's like 25 years. I was like, so millennials, what is that? Like, are we millennials? I think, yeah.
I would say people who spent most of their adult life in after 2000, maybe. I don't know what the cutoff would be, but what does it even mean?
That up.
This is not a fun territory for me. We're not going to go into age stuff because
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, we're gonna end that. That was a great discussion, and it was just wonderful to sit back and listen to the back and forth and hear all about the TCA conference, which I think is an awesome blueprint for schools to think about. And I don't necessarily know how to go about that. That might be a conversation we need to have later. But how can we have a great experience for our staff that's open to and to make it bigger? And how special would that be for our staff to have this experience that's also this bigger piece?
Right.
And I'm with all those logistics and the fact that I believe Mandy said it was free. Is that true?
It's 100% free. Lunch is provided. If you're a presenter, it's it's student-centered in the fact that the kids actually make breakfast for our presenters.
Like the culinary department was making
culinary
crepes. I'm like, where am I? I'm like, where am I right now? They're like, they've got hats. They're like cooking eggs. I'm like, what is going on?
They bake fresh cookies around lunch. So yeah.
I'm fascinated. When is this?
It's actually, we're planning now. We just confirmed 2 dates. I can't give those out just yet, but they'll be in October. Last time it was around Columbus Day, so that should give you some clue of when it will be. It will be announced soon, though, the dates. But it's always in October. And we would love for you guys to come again. You know who to contact.
Texas is like a jump from Wisconsin, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. We get it.
Absolutely. I mean, even if we could do it virtually, that would be phenomenal. We've had that before. We've actually had where one presenter was here and the other was wherever they were. And
I can Zoom you in and we can play Game of Stories.
There we go. There we go. So great stuff.
The only thing you would miss is the breakfast.
Yeah, the breakfast thing would be tough.
Yeah. Oh, and we had like $20,000 in prizes that we gave away.
Yeah, they did.
That's sensational. Really good stuff. And obviously I feel like we're just scratching the surface because we just talked about like recent stuff with you and we didn't get to dive into your history and all sorts of things. So we're going to have you back at some point. Is that okay?
Awesome. Absolutely. Absolutely. This was so much fun.
I know, right? We're really having a grand time. We really are.
I can see that. I can see that. I hate that it took you so long to do this.
I know. We're catching up. We're working on it.
Yeah,
we got momentum now that the new year has started.
That's right. That's right. So it's good stuff. So as we conclude, we have a little tradition. And I guess I need to just say we're going to do our Game of Stories card now because it's episode 9. And I'm hoping that the people at episode 9 have probably heard some of the past ones so they know it's coming. We have our Bretzman Group Game of Stories, the lightning round. Bretzman Group Game of Stories, of course, is the 52-card deck of a bunch of amazing prompts for you to use to spur on professional discussions with your colleagues or at conferences. You could present on them like Mandy did at Shaina's conference. Fabulous stuff. So we're going to do a little lightning round here in which everybody will have about a minute to answer. I think last time Mandy took about 10, but, that's about a minute.
Truth.
It's okay. It was such a good thing. We didn't want to stop her. Like you just sit back and you
We've got like this hook that like
just let it flow.
All right. So here is our card for today. It is set goals. Yeah, I know like the light was like glaring on it.
I'm like
tell a story about how, why, and when you set goals. Do you set aside a time to learn and explore, or do you set a destination for where you want to go and what you want to achieve? What tools do you use to follow up with yourself? Shaina, we're going to let you go first because you're a guest. You have a minute.
Okay, so why do I set goals? Because I have to have like you said, you have to have a destination. You can't just go aimlessly. How do I set goals? This year, I am actively using my passion planner.
Ooh. I have a passion planner.
Gosh, you like it? Oh my gosh. So I love, if you're not sure what a passion, I don't know if you share what a passion planner is, but I love the idea of the concept of this, and I've had it for a year. Actually, on Instagram, I've seen it, and I actually wrote to them about it. My school was opening, and I put out a notice for them, and they sent us 75 passion planners. So I was able to give them out to my campus. Yeah. Awesome. And I fell in love with them. So every month you set your goal. So like if you're setting your goal for the beginning of the year, you set your goal and then you go through your month. And at the end you tell where you are with that goal and how you're going to move forward. What worked, what didn't work. and go that way. I am trying something new too to go with my goals. I'm working with someone I mentioned before the podcast. My cousin is like a life coach. I'm going to say it. And he was like, you just have to you have to do this. You have to go forward and share about, and I'm going to work on it. But he was like, coaching can't just be done right here. It shouldn't be. It should be global. He was like, why couldn't you? And I was like, I don't know. He was like, are you smart enough? And I was like, yeah. He was like, do you know your stuff? I was like, I think so. He was like, no, do you know your stuff? I was like, yeah. He was like, then do it. Don't limit it to just being right here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you guys are doing this podcast. Take your goal, take what you're doing, and expand it, because so many people don't have, you know, we're in a network. Like, right. Mandy, you're my PLN, you know. So, right. But that's so different when you have people who support you and, mm-hmm. you know, that you can branch off of. But this isn't, okay, I'm not going to say it's not reality, but it's not everybody's reality.
Right.
You know, like I want to say even like maybe if it's 1 in 5, then maybe like 1 in 5. Every 1 in 5 educators has someone or knows even what a PLN is, mm-hmm. knows what a network is, where you can have support systems. Every educator doesn't have that, yeah. You know, and they're looking for that. So put yourself out there, let it go, and actually be there. And the whole idea, I was explaining them how I coach and how, you know, like you guys talking about, you know, what's your problem? What are you struggling with? Well, my approach is, how can I help you with where you are? You know, so what you're doing right now, where do you want to go next? What's the one thing that you would like to take on? Mm-hmm. So from there, I walk you through that and build up. And so he was like, just do that. Just do that. Just do that. And I was like, well, I do that. Actually, that's what I do on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. So that's my goal this year, to see how many people I can reach and coach, okay. Even if it's something this small.
Yeah.
Or something that's grandiose. Okay. So that's where I'm going. That's why I was like, I'm ready. I'm like ready for this card, because yeah. And I have a weekly focus, and I have to like do a face-to-face and be like, okay, this is where I am.
Okay.
With my goal as I'm accomplishing it. And this month is to write it out and come up with a plan. That's my goal right now. That's my goal, to see how am I going to reach all these people.
So my goal is to hire Shaina as my life coach.
But did it make sense though, Mandy? Did I just say it made sense?
Yeah, the Passion Planner is such a great tool if you utilize it. And so, Josh, can I just go? Like, can I just go? Like, go. Can I just go? Please okay. Go. I didn't know if there was an official buzzer. So as you're talking, like in my mind, I'm halfway like cheering and halfway like beating myself up, because what I've determined about myself, I was telling my friend today, it's beautiful. That's her Passion Planner. I was telling my friend today, I want to make one of those bracelets. Like I want a bracelet that is engraved, you know, because everybody's coming up with their like one word for 2018 or whatever. But I office with our counselor, and I told her, I said, okay, I've decided my word, and it's
what is it?
Follow through. Because my problem is I have big dreams, and I dream it big, and I get fired up for about 28 hours. And then it's a Tuesday, and I'm helping with testing, or, you know, we'll do the podcast, and then I'm excited, and I write stuff down, and I do this, and then I go to my son's band concert. And then what happens with me is I become kind of victim to my own busyness instead of developing, it's the plan, I think, what you were saying, kind of like what are the action items? And it talks about that in the passion planner. So if this is your goal, break it back. It's kind of like backwards design. Like, okay, if this is your objective, let's back up to how we're going to get there, And so that's what my problem is a friend of mine even told me, she kind of said, I need to admit something to you, because we were talking, and she said, several years ago when you were still in the classroom, we would always do that. Like, you would come in with your thing, and then I would tell my friend, she said, let's give it a month and a half and see if she's still excited about it, and then we'll do it. Like, because they knew if it was something like, and especially with Twitter and books and all these, the internet, there's so many ideas. Yes. And I'm like, oh, I need to be doing this. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing this. And then she said, yeah, let's see. And let's just see what she follows through with to see if it's something we should think about or not. And so that's me.
We're like this. We need to talk like for real talk.
So that's mine is, I can still dream the big dreams, but then kind of choosing a focus and just sitting in the focus for a while without having to constantly be chasing the next thing. Is let's look at something, do it well, and then kind of evaluate. Yes, keep going, or no, don't. That's what's going to get my book written instead of me just thinking about it for a decade of my life.
Oh my gosh. That is also on the year plan, the book. And I was like, whatever. I can't focus. But yeah, we so need to talk.
Yeah.
If you're not watching the video, Shaina's making the cute eye to eye motion.
Yes, for real. We were.
You complete me.
You had me at hello.
It should give you a pretty good indication of how much I struggle with classroom management as a teacher, and that every episode's like, oh, we got the 1 minute lightning round here, and then 10 minutes later we.
You can't stop a freight train, Josh.
I don't want to, I'm a pushover. I would like to say that it allowed great things to happen most of the time. Okay, so I guess it's my turn, and I will try and go fast. So I needed to get better at goal setting. There was one year where I was really intentional about goal setting. I set a few goals, with both professional and personal goals that I wanted to reach, and I shared them. I posted them on Facebook. I wrote a blog about them. I shared them at our in-service, so every teacher knew what I was working on. And those goals were to run a half marathon under 2 hours, an TEDx event at our school, get a novel published, and present at ISTE. And there might have been another one on there, another two. So I picked all these goals and this is what I'm working on this year. And we did okay. I got to present at ISTE a few times, which was awesome. And it's one of those things where at this point, I don't ever feel like I need to do it again. I did it. It was great. And I can say I did it, but that happened. I ended up hurting myself in the winter and wasn't able to start running. I was 2 months off of running before I could start running again. And I ran my first half marathon in 2 minutes over 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
I just missed. We did a TEDx at our school and have done it since. This will be year 3 coming up.
Awesome.
The novel thing didn't happen. I haven't necessarily pursued that as much as I'd like to, but I do NaNoWriMo every year, National Novel Writing Month. So I've done that 4 years in a row, and done the 50,000 word challenge every November.
Wow.
If you're looking to get that novel written or that book written, whatever it may be, maybe that's wait till that month and then just go crazy that month. I don't know.
I need to know more about that.
Yeah, but it was awesome to have goals set and to concretely work towards them, and then now I think at this point I'm I need to get back to doing that and being intentional about writing them, because like you said, it gives you that destination. You need to know where you're going in order to do the steps to get there. So anyways,
and set big goals. It's good to have realistic goals, but set big goals. You know what I mean?
It's okay.
Goals that you don't think. Yes, absolutely. But it's you're headed to the moon and you'll land among the stars. You know what I mean? So it's good to have something just enormous, I'm going to be the keynote.
There we go.
It's on
Yeah, and then
For you, that's going to happen. I can see it.
like, I'm gonna be the keynote, but maybe I'll just be there. But I made it.
That's right.
Maybe I'll pick the keynote up from the airport.
We'll have dinner.
All right. This has been awesome, Shaina. Thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us and share some stories.
Oh my
Is
God.
there anywhere that you'd like to shout out for people to either follow you, learn more about what you're doing, or find out more about?
Absolutely. I am on all social media. I have taken a break because I had a medical injury too that's kind of put me under the weather. I had to get myself together. But I am always on Twitter at svicglass. It's SVICGLASS. And that is the same on Instagram and on what else? Instagram, Boxer, all the main outlets. And then I'm also on Facebook, and it's just Shaina Victoria Glass. So definitely follow. I do share. I do have a website too, which is ShainaVGlass.com. So check in. And also check out TCCA. You know, since we're talking about TCCA, you go to tccaconference.com. Yeah.
Highly recommend everybody come meet me at TCCA.
And we're on social media too. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Lots coming out very, very soon. And we are looking for presenters. So the presenters will be opening probably within the next couple weeks. So yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Excellent. Good stuff. Well, Mandy, it's been fun.
It's always a pleasure, Josh.
Yep, and we will be chatting again soon. I'm really excited about our next couple of guests lined up, and I know you will be too. So thanks for listening to Stories in EDU once again, and we'll see you back here, or you'll hear us back here on a Tuesday near you. Thanks for listening.
Yay!
Thank you for tuning in to the Stories in EDU podcast. Please be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. Until next time, thanks again.